Welcome to the Learn English Podcast Daily. My name is Claire.
My name is James. By listening to this, you may learn English in a very simple way.
Today, we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon. Okay, let's deep into the topic.
So, have you ever been playing a video game, like really deep into it, and you suddenly realize you've totally forgotten you're just sitting in your living room?
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe, use one of those apps, like pointing your phone at the floor to see if a new sofa fits.
Yeah, exactly. Those kinds of moments where the line between the physical and the digital just sort of blurs. That's what we're digging into today.
Right. We're talking about immersive experiences, and it's really more than just a buzzword now. It's this whole technological and psychological shift that's changing things. Training, shopping, how we connect.
It really is. We're definitely past the novelty stage. So this deep dive, it's your shortcut to getting your head around this whole revolution. We're going to, unpack the tech, VR, AR, MR.
And show you some, honestly, pretty surprising ways they're being used right now.
Yeah.
High-stakes stuff like in medicine, retail.
Yeah, and then we'll look ahead a bit too. What's coming next, and also some of the tricky ethical questions we need to think about as this tech grows up.
Okay, so to really get it, we actually have to look beyond the headsets first. It starts with the psychology. An immersive experience, fundamentally, it's any kind of simulated environment that, completely surrounds and pulls you in.
Right.
But the real aim isn't just making something look real. The goal is to make you, the user, feel genuinely present in that digital space.
Presence. Okay, that sounds key. But wait, is that just like a fancier way to say it's a really good game or a really compelling movie?
Well, not quite. It's more about the brain state. Presence is... it's the psychological point where your brain basically accepts the sensory info from that virtual world as if it's real. It suspends disbelief so much that you might react physically.
Wow.
Like if you look down from a virtual cliff edge and your stomach actually drops, that's presence.
Got it. So presence is like the benchmark for success here. Yeah. And the courses we looked at, they point to 4 sort of key things you need to nail to get that feeling. First one's pretty obvious. Sensory engagement. It has to hit multiple senses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sight, sound, and increasingly touch. Haptics are getting really sophisticated now.
And second, this one's critical interactivity.
Yeah.
You can't just be passively watching.
Right.
Your actions have to matter. They need to have a direct, believable impact on what's happening around you. You wave, something waves back, basically.
Makes sense. And third, there needs to be some narrative depth. A story or maybe a task or just a clear reason for you to be there, something that pulls you in deeper.
And the last one is consistency. That virtual world, it needs to play by its own rules, logically. If you throw a virtual ball and it just sails right through a virtual table.
That breaks it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they call a break in presence. The illusion shatters instantly.
Okay. And it's the technology itself, this extended reality or XR, that's all about minimizing those breaks, right?
Precisely. XR is the big umbrella term. It covers all of these technologies we're talking about. Virtual, augmented, and mixed reality.
Okay. Let's break down that spectrum, starting with the one most people probably think of first. Virtual reality, VR, the total escape.
Right.
You put on a headset, something like the Meta Quest 3 or maybe the PlayStation VR 2, and boom, the real world is gone, replaced completely by this 360-degree interactive digital space.
And the way it does that is pretty clever. It uses stereoscopic display, so a slightly different image for each eye to create that sense of depth. Plus, it's got really sensitive head tracking sensors and motion controllers.
So it feels like you're actually moving in that space.
Exactly. It's all designed to trick your brain into believing you're somewhere else entirely.
And it's killer app. I mean, gaming is huge, obviously, but it really shines in those high-stakes situations too, doesn't it? Like training.
Absolutely.
We saw that Unity, the big 3D platform, they report huge uptake in VR for enterprise training. And it makes sense, right?
Yeah, because you can practice landing a plane or doing a complex surgery or handling dangerous equipment 1,000 times safely. If you mess up, nobody gets hurt. It's repeatable and ultimately pretty cost-effective compared to real-world training for some of these things.
Okay, so that's VR, the total immersion. Then at the other end, you've got augmented reality, AR.
Right, the world. but enhanced. With AR, you're still fully seeing and interacting with your physical surroundings. But digital information or objects are overlaid onto that view, usually through your phone screen or maybe some smart glasses.
That's why things like Pokemon Go just exploded, right? Or the IKEA Place app for furniture.
Exactly. You're looking through your camera, and the tech uses spatial mapping. It understands the surfaces in your room to anchor a digital object, like that Pokemon or that sofa, right onto your real coffee table.
So it looks like it's actually there. Very useful for things like visualizing products or even instructions.
Invaluable for maintenance, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine digital arrows popping up on a real engine showing you exactly which bolt to turn next. Or for retail, seeing how something looks in your space.
And then smack in the middle, blending these two. That's mixed reality, Messar.
Yes. And this is where things get, well, really interesting and technically quite advanced.
Because it's not just digital stuff on top of the real world anymore.
Right. The key difference is interaction. Digital objects and physical objects don't just coexist in your view. They actually interact with each other in believable ways.
Like how?
So imagine a virtual ball doesn't just appear on your real desk. It lands on the desk and then it bounces off it correctly. It even goes behind real objects if you move around.
Whoa. Okay, that sounds like it needs some serious sensing power.
It absolutely does. You need advanced sensors, things like LiDAR, to constantly map the geometry, the shape of your physical room in real time.
And that's where devices like the Microsoft HoloLens 2 come in. And the Apple Vision Pro more recently.
Exactly. These are typically aimed at more complex, often professional uses right now. Things like collaborative design reviews, intricate engineering tasks, or even advanced medical visualization during surgery.
Okay, so that's the headset spectrum. VR, AR, MRAC. But you mentioned there are other ways to feel immersed too, right? Beyond just wearing something on your head.
Yeah, definitely. We shouldn't forget things like 360-degree videos. You see these a lot in journalism or virtual tours.
Right, you can look all around, but you can't really interact.
Exactly. It's pre-recorded, but still gives you that sense of being somewhere else. And then there's the really spectacular stuff like projection mapping.
Oh yeah, I've seen that where they project onto buildings.
Onto buildings, onto stages at concerts, turning these huge, often irregular surfaces into moving, dynamic displays. It's pure visual spectacle, creating impossible scenes without anyone needing a headset.
Very cool.
And then there are highly specialized setups, like immersive rooms, often called KVEs. That stands for Cave Automatic Virtual Environment.
Okay.
These project images onto all the walls, sometimes the floor and ceiling too. They're mostly used for really high-end stuff, like complex scientific data visualization or maybe reviewing large engineering models.
Wow. Okay, so the tech is diverse. Let's shift gears then and talk about where it's actually making a difference, the applications, because this seems to be where it goes from just being cool tech to being genuinely essential.
It really is. And we're seeing huge impact in, I'd say, three main areas right now.
Yeah.
Healthcare, education and training, and retail or commerce.
Let's start with healthcare. You mentioned training earlier.
Yes, the ability to practice procedures without risk is massive. Companies like Austria VR are doing amazing work in surgical training,
Right.
allowing medical students, residents, even experienced surgeons to rehearse complex operations over and over, building that muscle memory, that confidence, without ever touching a real patient until they're ready.
That's incredible. And it's not just for the doctors, is it? I read about using VR for patients too, like for pain management.
Absolutely. It's proving to be a really potent distractor. Put someone undergoing a painful procedure, like, say, changing burn dressings, into a calming or engaging VR environment.
Like throwing snowballs in a winter scene or something.
Exactly. It can significantly reduce their perception of pain. And it's also becoming a cornerstone for exposure therapy, helping people confront phobias or manage PTSD in a safe, controlled, virtual setting.
And what about the AR and MR side in medicine?
That's fascinating too. Imagine a surgeon wearing MR glasses that overlay a patient's real-time CT scan or MRI data directly onto their body during an operation.
Whoa. Like X-ray vision almost.
Kind of. It provides this incredible layer of information right where the surgeon needs it. That level of precision is already improving outcomes.
Okay, that's huge. Let's talk education and training next. This seems like another natural fit.
Definitely. It's about shifting from just passively reading or listening to actively doing. Why just read about ancient Rome when you could actually take a VR walk through a reconstruction of the Colosseum?
Yeah, I can see how that would stick with you more.
And corporations are really jumping on this. We saw examples like Walmart using VR to prep employees for the chaos of a Black Friday sale.
Oh, wow, okay.
Or training factory workers on how to operate or maintain complex, maybe even dangerous machinery, but in a completely safe virtual replica first.
Right. And there was a stat about the effectiveness of this.
Yeah, this one's pretty striking. A study by PwC found that learners using VR were up to 275% more confident in their ability to actually act on what they learned compared to people who just sat through a traditional lecture or e-learning module.
275%. That's not a small difference.
Not at all. That confidence boost translates directly into fewer errors, better performance, real bottom line benefits for companies.
Okay, so healthcare, training, what about retail and e-commerce? How's immersion changing how we shop?
Well, the big goal here is tackling the main downside of online shopping, uncertainty. You buy something, it arrives, and it's not what you expected or it doesn't fit. Returns are a massive cost.
Right, so things like virtual try-on apps.
Exactly. Being able to see glasses or makeup on your face or how clothes might look on your body shape right from home, that's becoming pretty standard now.
But it goes beyond just clothes and makeup, right? I saw something about cars.
Yeah, Porsche has this great AR app. You can configure the car you want, color, wheels, everything, and then use your phone to place a full-size, realistic 3D model of it right in your actual driveway or garage.
So you can see if it physically fits and how it looks next to your house.
Precisely. And experts, like those at Successive Technologies, point out that this kind of thing dramatically cuts down on return rates. But more importantly, it boosts buyer confidence. You feel like you've already experienced the product in your own space before you click buy.
It closes that gap, that uncertainty. Makes total sense. And then there's entertainment, of course. This is where a lot of this tech started.
And it keeps evolving. We're seeing these huge shared social experiences now. Think about the virtual concerts inside game platforms like Fortnite.
Oh yeah, the Travis Scott one, Ariana Grande.
Millions of people attending simultaneously from all over the world. It's a whole new kind of live event.
And even in traditional live performance, like theater.
We're seeing really innovative stuff there too. Immersive theater productions like the famous Sleep No More. There's no fixed stage, no seats really.
Right, the audience just wanders through the set.
Yeah, you roam freely through this elaborate environment, following different characters, piecing together the story yourself. You become an active participant, not just a passive viewer. Very different feel.
Okay, so that gives us a pretty good picture of where things are now. What about the future? What's coming down the pipeline? What should we be looking out for?
Well, the big overarching vision that kind of ties a lot of this together is the concept of the metaverse.
Ah, the metaverse. We hear that term a lot.
We do. And it's often misunderstood. It's not just one single game or app by one company. The vision is more like a persistent, interconnected 3D version of the internet.
Okay.
An embodied internet where we can socialize, work, shop, play, learn, all within a seamless network of virtual spaces, likely using avatars that represent us.
So less about jumping between separate apps and more like moving through one continuous digital reality.
That's the ideal, yeah. Still a ways off, but that's the direction many are aiming for. And beyond that conceptual future, the hardware itself is evolving rapidly.
Like making the experience even more real.
Exactly. The next big frontier is probably haptics and full-body suits, getting the sense of touch into the experience.
So you could actually feel things.
Imagine gloves that let you feel the texture of a virtual object, or a suit that simulates the warmth of a virtual fireplace, or maybe the impact of raindrops. That sense of touch is a huge missing piece right now.
Wow, yeah, that would be a game changer.
And looking even further out, potentially, you have things like brain-computer interfaces, or BCIs.
Like Neuralink and stuff.
Right, companies exploring direct links between the brain and computers. The ultimate goal there might be controlling virtual environments or interacting with digital information, just using your thoughts. No controllers, no gestures, just thinking.
Okay, that's pretty mind-bending. And visually, are we going to get to the point where you can't tell virtual from real?
We're getting closer, faster than you might think. Advances in real-time graphics engines, things like Unreal Engine 5, combined with AI that can help generate incredibly detailed assets.
Yeah.
Yes, we're heading towards photorealism that's almost indistinguishable from reality, rendered in real time.
Okay, so amazing potential, but this speed, this power, it must bring challenges too, right? There have got to be downsides or things we need to be careful about.
Absolutely. This kind of progress demands we think critically. The power is immense, and that introduces some really serious ethical and practical hurdles.
Like what? What are the main concerns?
Well, privacy is a huge one. Think about what these XR devices can collect. It's not just what you click on anymore.
Right.
It's your biometric data, eye movements, maybe even heart rate eventually. It's your physical movement, how you gesture, how you walk. And if it's MR or AR, it's detailed scans of your private spaces, your home, your office.
That's a lot of sensitive data, a potential gold mine for companies doing tracking or behavioral analysis.
Exactly. Then there's accessibility. Right now, the really advanced headsets, the MR ones like Vision Pro or HoloLens 2, they're expensive.
Thousands of dollars.
Which creates a pretty significant digital divide. This powerful technology risks becoming available only to the wealthy, potentially widening existing inequalities.
That's a good point. What about the impact on us psychologically?
That's another major area. Mental health. As these virtual worlds become more and more compelling, more realistic, more engaging, what are the risks of spending too much time there?
Like dissociation, losing touch with actual reality, or just plain addiction.
Both are potential concerns. We'll likely need to develop new social norms, maybe even built-in technological safeguards to encourage healthy use patterns and, digital well-being.
And finally, you mentioned the photorealism aspect. That seems like it could be misused too.
Definitely. That's the reality gap problem. When virtual experiences become almost perfectly lifelike, the potential for misuse grows dramatically. Think about hyper-realistic deepfakes, but in an immersive, interactive context. Or creating simulations designed to be deliberately misleading or even traumatic. That's a serious challenge.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've gone through the whole XR spectrum, from VR's total escape with devices like the MetaQuest 3, through AR layering onto our world, to the really interactive MR blend we see in things like HoloLens and Vision Pro.
Yeah, and we've seen how it's not just theoretical. It's making a real impact now in critical fields like medicine, in corporate training, in how we shop and experience entertainment.
It feels like the immersive age isn't coming anymore. It's kind of already here.
I think that's right. It's shifting quickly from being this niche, maybe slightly futuristic thing to becoming a central set of tools for how we're going to live, learn, work, and connect. The opportunities for efficiency, for empathy even, for creativity, they're just unparalleled.
So the big question hanging over all this isn't really if this tech becomes mainstream anymore. It feels more like, how are we going to choose to shape it as it does?
Exactly.
Given all that power we talked about and those pretty serious challenges, the privacy risks with all that data, the accessibility divide, the blurring line with reality, what's one thing, maybe one proactive step that you think really needs to happen now, something either technological or maybe cultural, to help make sure we use all this potential to genuinely enhance our humanity rather than, just exploiting it or letting it get away from us.
That's the critical question we all need to be asking. The potential is just limitless, but so are the responsibilities that come with it.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe our channel. Let's meet soon with a new interesting topic. Have a nice day.